diesel's what, 5.10, 5.15 a gallon?
It's down to 470 now.
Was it? Is it?
Yeah.
Is this all Putin's fault?
No, there hasn't been a supply interruption. There hasn't been. This is speculation. This is the money. Where did the money that was in the stock market go? If you ask all these smart people you see on Facebook, they'll tell you it don't exist. I have an absolute idiot that sounds really smart on Facebook on my personal feed. And the reason why is this. Fractional reserve banking. If a bank has $1, they can loan it out 9 times.
Right.
Fractional reserve banking is actually how money is printed over time through debt. This is why whenever interest rates are low, money's actually being printed at the rate it can. But fractional reserve banking is a really good thing for the banks. They're regulated on how they can loan that money out, but it's a good thing. I mean, you pay a little bit of interest on a little bit of money, loan it out a bunch. But what happens when you own a property free and clear and I buy it with debt from the bank, right? You get real money, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It gets wired to your bank account,
Yep.
goes into a different bank. That bank can then loan it out 10 times. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But what happens whenever I go to a different bank and I refinance that property? Well, that money gets paid back to the bank that originally loaned me money.
Right.
And then they got to loan it out 10 times. You see how money was created out of thin air?
Mm-hmm.
So it just keeps...
It's not real.
It is real, but what I'm telling you is...
It's ones and zeros just getting pushed around.
It's ones and zeros getting pushed around digitally, but it doesn't matter. It exists. It does not disappear. When that bank... I had a guy on the internet tell me when the bank gets paid off, the bank cannot have that money. I'm like...
What are you talking about?
I'm like, what are you talking about? They had to send the money to the guy I bought the property from. They had to wire him money.
Right.
So they got their money back. They have to get it back. He goes, yeah, but blah, blah, it just goes away. I'm like, it does not just go away. And that's the same thing with the $6 trillion that was printed. $6 trillion was printed. Did you get any EIDO money?
Mm-hmm.
I got some EIDO money. They told us how we could spend it and how we couldn't spend it and all this and that. So you know what we had to do with our EIDO money?
What's that?
We had to let it sit in the motherfucking bank because they wouldn't let us spend it. They said you couldn't, and then they loosened it up and we were able to pay off some bills. So we paid off some bills, but until then, we just had liquidity. Well, what's that money doing when it's sitting in the bank? Getting loaned out 10 times.
Yeah, it
has to.
Right.
Otherwise, when interest rates rise, so they go from paying a fraction of a percent to paying 3 or 4%, what does that mean the bank has to do? Their margins just got squeezed.
Yeah.
They now have to loan more money.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've got all the basics of fractional reserve banking out of the way and $6 trillion extra dollars in the economy, our new economy, by the way, this isn't the people want it to go. It's not going away. Don't worry about that. That's what a house costs. That's what gas costs. That's what beef costs. It's the new prices. So all of that being said, all that money has to be loaned out. Some people took some of that money and got it into the stock market. You know what I mean? So that money ends up in the stock market because money seeks yield. So they go to the stock market with it just because they need it somewhere so it can make a return. The stock market takes money. What do they do with it? So when I buy a Tesla stock, Tesla gets money, or the shareholder that was there gets money. What do they have to do with it? They have to take that money and make it make money. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has to go someplace else. So money's constantly seeking yield. It's constantly seeking a return on investment.
Whether whoever you bought stocks and shares in is using those finances to improve their systems and process, buying new.
They have to go
machines.
hire somebody.
Right.
They have to buy a new machine. They have to.
They got to get more efficient.
They got to get more efficient. They have to. Money's constantly seeking yield. So when you have that much money chasing the limited goods and services, the prices go up. That's inflation. It's there. It exists. Okay. So when this war in Russia kicks off, right? Money seeking yield, a lot of money seeking yield. What did they all do? They placed a bet on a supply interruption of fuel. That hasn't took hold yet, but that's all it did.
Will it?
It could. If they fought the war right, they would. They'd just fucking take out Russia's oil field and then they're handicapped and that's over with. The rest of the world's in a real bad spot, but Russia's in a worse spot because they ain't got no money.
Right.
But they would just bomb that. They would just, boom, you ain't got no more oil fields. Done, son. What's next? Still want to fight? You ready to tap out?
Yeah, but everybody's over there playing grab ass. And
I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. The only reason why oil prices are high is because money seeks yield. And when money comes out of the stock market, when money comes out of the Russian stock market, when money comes out of all these places, it goes and it sits liquid in a bank. And the bank has to loan it out.
Yeah, that's their job.
That's their job,
Yeah.
or it's going to cost it. It's going to squeeze their yield because
Right.
interest rates are going up. So now they have to get it back out into
So you're
something.
saying banks don't go take out savings accounts? Banks invest.
They can,
loan.
but it's going to be sitting in another
Right.
bank.